Hello everyone, welcome back to NF Talks. My name is Beth and I have neurofibromatosis type 1. I've had it now for nearly 20 years, next year will be 20 years. And I'm going to be talking more in depth about my story and my NF journey because with May being Neurofibromatosis Awareness Month, I've been trying to do a fact today of NF and add facts when I can. And I've been doing that every day since 1st of May. So today I am going to be talking more about my story and how I was first diagnosed with neurofibromatosis with a little bit of added history before that. So before my NF1 diagnosis, I actually had scoliosis. I was 11 years old. This was in 2004. And I was 12 in the May of 2004. And I had surgery in the March of 2004. Wednesday, the 3rd of March 2004. I will never forget it. Now, before then, obviously you have scans, x-rays, to make sure everything's okay. And obviously you have your back checked. And my scoliosis specialist actually queried if I had NF1 because he noticed the capillary spots, which was one of the signs of NF1. He noticed them. He noticed I had over 6 of them. Now, to be queried to have neurofibromatosis, you do need to have 6 or more of these capillary spots. And these capillary spots are little brown, there they are brown spots. I've got one there as well. And these capillary spots vary in shape and size. And they're called capillary spots is because they look like spilled coffee. And so he queried that, and obviously my mum said no, because we've never even heard of it. So I think he tried to push me forward, and obviously I must have fell under the system until 2007, when, so that was 2006, sorry. 2007 was the year I had my operation. 2006, I started to get really, really ill. And we didn't know what it was because I was eating, but I wasn't putting on weight. Now, I was looking back at my photos and I came across this photo, and this was the Christmas of 2006. And this is me. We didn't realise how poorly I was. So that is me. I'll turn down the brightness a little bit. And this was in 2006. I'm 14 here. There we go, that's a bit better. That's me. And we did know then that I was quite poorly, that I had this brain tumour. And I am a little bit thin there. And because of it, we didn't know. And the symptoms I started with were headaches. And I was getting my eyes, and I wear glasses now. I didn't really back then. And I was getting dizzy. I had headaches. So I went to the doctors. They just said it was headaches. Take paracetamol, I should be okay. A week later, the headaches were getting worse. I was getting agitated because I couldn't stop the pain of these headaches. And so I went back. They amped up to migraines, and they gave us ibuprofen to try and help with migraines, ibuprofen and paracetamol. Didn't help. The headaches were getting worse. It was getting to the point where I just wanted to stay in a dark room. 3rd time I went, the doctor, we'll never forget it, what this doctor said. He said, they're just migraines, there's nothing wrong with me, and I should just get on with school, because I was doing my SATs at the time, because I was held back a year from when we moved from one place in the UK to another. And so just get on with it. And I started with severe dizziness, falling over, nothing. And it wasn't until I fell down the stairs that we thought something wasn't right, because my mood was changed as well. I was getting more angry. Now, I'm normally not an angry person, and I wasn't an angry teenager. And my mood just totally changed. And then this was on the Monday in February. I'm trying to remember the date. It was the 3rd, I want to say the 3rd of February. And I went to the doctors. She took one look at me, was like, yeah, there's something not right here. Obviously, she did the examination. She noticed I was weak on my right side. So after that, she went, I'm going to refer her to the hospital. She needs to get seen to because something isn't right, especially with this severe right-sided weakness. Right, okay, went back to school. Then on the Wednesday, I received a letter saying I had to go to hospital on Friday the 9th of February in the morning. Fine, okay, I was off that day anyways because I had to see my scoliosis specialist. So after seeing the school, so after getting that letter, I went and we thought, oh, it was going to be a quick appointment. I'm done with, I have enough time to go see my scoliosis specialist. When I went, this professor, pediatrics oncologist, neurologist, she did a thorough investigation, so thorough. I'll never forget what my mum said. She gave me such a thorough investigation that she'd never seen a 14-year-old have this thorough investigation that this professor was doing. Professor said, right, I have to agree with her GP, there is something not right. Now, this professor, she originally thought I had a stroke. I had a silent stroke because the right-sided weakness was just totally gone. So she paid for a taxi from one hospital, which she was seen as at, to go to a different hospital to have this specialist MRI. I went, I had the MRI. Right, don't go home. You need to come back to this children's ward. Okay. It turns out I had a brain tumour. And the brain tumour was the size of a satsuma. So I do have my photos here. So if you just give me a moment while I pick them up. There we go. So here is my brain tumour. That's my little brain. That is the tumour. And that's how big it was. And it created, there it is again. It created a cyst that formed around it. So it was known as a pilocystic astrocytoma. Grade 1, which meant it was all fine. I didn't need any chemotherapy, but it had to be taken out because of where it was. Because if you look, it's actually sitting in a very, very important place of your brain, which is right at the back, which is where the cerebellum is. The cerebellum cortex is one of the most important parts of our brain. I'm like, right, okay. And I also had hydrocephalus, so they had to relieve this fluid in the brain as well, which was also creating the headaches. So I had the surgery on Saturday, the 10th of February, 8 o'clock. So after that, I stayed in hospital for a week. I had to learn how to walk again because I couldn't walk properly. I couldn't even now as an adult, I still can't grip properly. I had to learn how to reuse utensils as best as I could. So that was it. And then obviously the school, because the school thought I was just messing around. I was one of these teenagers that was messing around. And my nana rang the school on the Friday and said, Beth won't be in for a while. I'm like, why? What's happened? And she told him, my head of year. And he was like, oh, crap. And he apologised profusely because all the teachers thought I was just one of these teenagers that just didn't want to be in school. When that wasn't, even though I'm autistic, I like learning. I do love learning things. And I was off school, for a while. I started going back gradually, went back for an hour a day. This was in the SEN room, just so I could get used to school again. And then I started going in half a day, so I opted to go for the morning because there was subjects in the morning that I wanted to do than I did in the afternoon. And I meant in the afternoon I could just sleep. So I went in, all the other students were, I don't know if they were happy or not, because I was quite ostracised in school, I was quite lonely. And when they said, oh, what happened, what is it? Well, I've got a condition called neurofibromatosis. It's a type of nerve disease. And as soon as I said disease, that was it. And I will never ever forget what some of the students did. So we all had a turn to hand out books, and when it was my turn, whenever I handed them out, whenever I gave them the book, every single one of them would pick up the book, they would get their sleeves up to there, and they would wipe the book down. And then when it was their turn, they would either throw the book at me, not touching it with their fingers, the hands, or they would purposely leave it in the cupboard, or they would purposely move it to a different cupboard. So I usually had to go to get my own book. And that made me a bit more self-conscious, because I was bullied anyways because of my facial structure. Now, I have a condition where part of the neurofibromatosis, where my face didn't grow correctly, which, as you can see, has caused my eyes to bulge a bit, especially this side, and my face is not as asymmetrical as everybody else's, and same with my bottom jaw. So I went back to school and I was enjoying it, but one of the lessons that I couldn't be in was music, and I love music. And the reason why I couldn't be in it was because the noise had triggered me so much, the constant bang of the keyboards when everybody was doing their coursework pieces. So I didn't do that. And once I got back into school the year after, back into routine, it was sort of still the same. They still did the same thing, and so that really put me down, because I was lonely in school. Nobody included me in things, which is not what school is about. School is about inclusion, equality, and even equity. So that was the start of my NF journey. Now, throughout the years, I'm now 34. Next year will be 20 years since my NF diagnosis. And since then, I've had a lot going on, because I've been diagnosed with a lot of tumours everywhere. Now, I have what's known as complex NF1, so all my tumours are internal. Subcutaneous tumours is what I have. Various places. I've got them on my scalp, which you can feel, which I have to be careful with, because if they hurt, I have to let people know. I've got another brain tumour here. I also have a lesion at the top of my spine. I have lesions in the brain. And I have tumours in my chest, abdomen, perirenal, which is the back here. I also have my entire right leg and either side of my knee. And I've also got one here. This is the newest one here that I'm keeping an eye on. And with my knee, similar happened with my brain tumour, because I had a dog with my first brain tumour, and he kept nudging the back, and that was annoying. And wasn't until I researched more about it that he knew something wasn't right, because he kept nudging. And so with the one in my knee, one's in my knee, the little dog I've got now, she started doing the same thing. She kept nudging it. And before I got worse, before my strength and my cognitive abilities declined, I used to go to fun dog shows with her. A lovely little community. All of us supported each other. I don't know what that was. But once we did that, we went there, she started nudging. She kept jumping up, nudging, nipping, and scratching at my right knee. Now, everybody was like, what's she doing? She doesn't do that. I went, no, I know something's not been right anyways, because my knee's been in pain. So I thought, intuition. I went to the doctors. I said, look, this is what's been happening. The pain in my knee is getting worse and worse, and nothing's helping. So she's referred me to orthopedics. I had an x-ray, it was completely fine. And I spoke to the orthopedic specialist, and I was like, I know this is something that you might not be able to do with it being bone, but is any chance you can get an MRI scan? I have neurofibromatosis, and something is telling me that I could have fibromas in this knee, in this leg. I was like, yeah, I'll do that for you. I had it. I went back. I was like, yeah, you're right. You've got neurofibromas in your knee. You've got one either side. It's like, yeah, I knew it. This was the 17th of June, 2017, I want to say. And he was like, we've got one. So I always use my feet because I can't put my leg up. I always use my knuckles because the knuckles are the best thing for this. So knee here, I've got one on this side, which is the sophus nerve. And I've got one here, which is the peripheral nerve. And this one is the most important one. And this one here is just a normal tumour, normal neurofibroma. But the one here is the plexiform. Now with plexiforms, we have to be very, very careful. We have to keep an eye on them. Continue with the MRI scans. Continue making sure that the symptoms in our leg doesn't get worse. Which obviously includes pins and needles. Now, there is a slight that they may not be able to take them out because if you do that with your leg, the two tumours here, the nerve here, especially here, is the most important nerve because it makes your leg do that, and obviously your ankle do that. Now, if I do that and squeeze it as best as I can't move my finger. And that is what's going to happen if one of these tumours gets taken out, especially on the peripheral nerve. Because you end up getting what's known as drop foot. So I have to be careful because obviously you need feet to walk. Like, yeah, I understand that. So I now see a specialist whose speciality is nerves. So that's a plastic surgeon. And reason why neurofibromatosis surgery, vast majority of the time, is classed as plastic surgery is because it is cosmetic, because you're reworking with nerves. You're trying to sort out nerves. So I've got them either side of my knee, and I've got them in the whole entirety of my right leg. Now, for the life of us, I've even asked my specialists about this. For me, it seems to be my right side that is affected. It's affected the most with these fibromas, these tumours. And we don't know why. Because the reason why I found out is because I dislocated my left knee a couple of years ago. It was quite bad, the pop. And I was like, I had the x-ray, but I was like, is there any chance I could have an MRI? Again, just in case it was fibromas that jolted it. I was like, yes, we'll do that for you. No fibromas at all in this entire left leg. I'm sitting like a bit awkward at the moment because my left leg's gone a bit numb. So we did that. It was fine. But we found out that the ligament or the tendon is 22 millimeters where it shouldn't be. So now I have to be very, very careful because I'm a high risk of dislocating it again. So that's what happened then. And then more recently is this one here. Now this one here, again, because when you have neurofibromatosis, you've got to check yourself. And I checked it. I was like, this feels weird. I was like, yeah, went to the doctors and he could feel it. And then I got an ultrasound scan, neurofibromas. Now, when you have neurofibromatosis, it is scary. But if your intuition is telling you something isn't right, it's always best to stick to that intuition and keep getting answers. Now, with neurofibromatosis, we are high risk of developing other conditions and especially other cancers. Now, one of these other cancers is breast cancer. Now, I had a small scare again a couple of years ago because I always check myself. I was like, my left breast doesn't feel right. Told my mum she'll go to the doctor, so I went to the doctors. GP was like, I think you could be right here. Got seen to this by the breast clinic. She said the same thing. I had the ultrasound scan because with the neurofibromatosis, ultrasound scans are usually best. And I do have nodules. Now, nodules doesn't necessarily mean they'll turn cancerous. It just means that I have to be aware. So I do have them in my left breast. Now, that's the only part of my left-hand side that is affected by these fibromas that we know of. So that happened then. Now, at the moment, this moment of time, and the next month it'll be a year that this has been going on. I've had crippling. When I mean crippling, it has been crippling to the point where I'm hunched over, nausea. And this nausea is absolutely awful because there are days where I'm not eating. There are days where I only have a forkful of something and that's it. I'm feeling full. Now, the only way I'm still functioning is because I'm having to force myself to eat, because we have to have some kind of food to survive, because we can't just live on fluids alone. We just can't live on water alone. But even then, it is struggling to eat and struggling to keep something down because I feel like I'm going to be sick and nothing's happening. But I'm getting it, I'm getting pain. And I'm getting this nausea. It is awful, this nausea. So I've been backwards and forwards for the best part of a year. I had an ultrasound scan. Everything's okay. I've had a gastroscopy. They took biopsies. The duodenum is a little bit unusual, but that's it. That's all that's wrong. Biopsies came back clear, but I've still got it, and it's as if no one's really listening because it's awful. And my mum's worried, my sister's worried, some of my friends are worried because I am not eating correctly. Now, everybody who knows me, I don't eat a lot of sweet stuff. When I do, my favourite treat for myself is cake, and I love cake. And I'm not even been able to eat cake. If I have a little bit, that's it, the nausea hits. And they're like, yeah, that's not you, Beth, this one. Nope, it's definitely not me. So I'm hopefully getting seen by gastrology soon, because my new GP's referred me to gastrology, because I've told her it's getting bad, it's getting worse, and force myself to eat, and I'm losing weight as well, because I know I'm losing weight. I weigh myself regularly because you have to be careful with neurofibromatosis, because if you lose too much weight, it's an area of concern. Now, my weight is sort of stable, I would say, at this moment, but I've lost weight. I know I've lost weight. The reason why I say a bit stable is because some of the medication I am on does put weight on you, and it's that's kept my weight stable. So hopefully I'll be seen to by them soon. But it's just really, really, really frustrating because this noise has been so bad that it's making me quite upset. I've got my phone here because I've got a couple of x-rays, MRIs. So with that, it's just really frustrating. But my NF specialists are absolutely brilliant. They're doing the best they can, to their best ability. So there's that as well. So as for next year, 20 years, I have stuff planned. I'm not saying what they are, but all I'm going to say is keep an eye out towards the end of the year, because I will be hopefully revealing it if my memory is okay, because I'm being seen by not only a neuro-oncologist, which deals with my NF side, the brain of my NF side. I'm also being seen by neurology because there is a slight high chance I could also have MS. Now, the neurologist is highly positive that I do have MS as well, because I've got some of the clear signs of it. However, neurofibromatosis type 1 and MS, the lesions can appear the same. So that's why I'm being seen by both. And at this moment in time, he's querying I do have MS, the neurologist. So that's that. So I've found my scans of my knee. So that's my knee. There's the bone there. And that is my knee. That's one tumour. And those little tiny flecks are little tiny tumours. There we go. And those little white dots there are very, very small tumours. So my entire right leg does have these tumours. I think I've got another one on. That's it. I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. So that's that. So I'm just being seen by a number of people. Now, I do have to be careful because I am 34, like I've said. So once you've reached between the age of 34 and above, people with neurofibromatosis, we can get breast cancer. And so I'm checking as best as I can, making sure these nodules are okay. And that's all I can say to other people who have neurofibromatosis is trust your intuition. If your intuition is saying something's not right, go see a specialist. It's always best to rule things out as an area of concern because we just don't know. It's better to be safe than sorry. So just make sure you look after your fibromas. Make sure you look after your body as well. And obviously, if you do have that support around you, keep those people around you. And keep fighting with this NF, because hopefully one day there will be some sort of help that will reduce these tumours completely or stop the gene from mutating. Because even though neurofibromatosis type 1 is genetic, I am not. I'm a spontaneous mutation. I'm the only person in my entire family that have it. And get your eyes tested because we are at high risk of developing optical glioma, especially with us having the lesion nodules in our eyes, little tiny flecks. It's always best to make sure that the lesion nodules are okay. And eyes tested, teeth as well. As you can see, I have quite bad teeth, and that's because of my skull deformity, because my jaw which has caused my teeth to swish together, and that's part of the neurofibromatosis. So I've had a few teeth taken out over the years because of the way my jaw is, the way my teeth are wonky teeth. Because the tooth enamel in people with neurofibromatosis is also quite weak, as well as their bones. So just make sure you look after yourself and get yourself seen to. Eye appointments actually need to be seen once a year, if you can. And obviously every 6 months for your teeth, just a normal teeth check. And x-rays on your teeth as well. So thank you all for watching. Next month it will be for scoliosis. So as a scoliosis awareness month in June, I will be talking more about scoliosis and how the resources can be helped towards there. If you are in the UK, please check out nervetumours.org.uk. They are a UK charity who help people like me with neurofibromatosis. They not only help people with NF1, they also help people with NF2 schwannomatosis and people with schwannomatosis as well. Even though NF2 schwannomatosis and schwannomatosis are no longer categorized as part of neurofibromatosis, they are categorized as part of the NF family because they do cause nerve tumours. So they are categorized as part of the NF family. So please get yourself seen to. Please look after yourself, and I shall see you all next month. Bye.